Hello and welcome to my first in hopefully a series of my surrogacy journey vlogs. First one is I'm meeting potential IPs, which is intended parents IPs, or potential IPs could be PIPs. Sorry, I haven't had much sleep as I said, and excuse the ums and ahs and everything, I'm just kind of sucky at the minute with sleep deprivation. Basically, on Sunday, I'm meeting up with potential IPs to see if we're suited. If all goes well, we'll match, or what's quite realistic is that we meet up and we decide we actually quite like each other and we carry on getting to know each other before we announce a match. I'm not exactly sure how it works. Last time was very, very different. A bit of background. You're right, Edie. A little bit of background. For anyone that's watched me for a long time, which isn't many of you, I was actually, originally I started up this channel to follow my surrogacy trying to conceive journey. I was matched before with some lovely IPs from Ireland. We couldn't do insems every month, it was like every other month or every few months because of the cost of flights and everything. Unfortunately for us, we had a chemical pregnancy, which was at 4 weeks, 2 days, was lost. And then 3 insems later, that was on my third insems, 3 insems later, so number 6, we got pregnant again. And I had a miscarriage at 11 weeks. It was a miscarriage. And I had to, I had a miscarriage at home on Saturday morning. But I'd had an ERCP booked on the Monday anyway. So I went in because they said to me, if you lose anything over the weekend, just come in anyway. Because I've been for a few scans at this point to verify that the fetus had actually passed away. And they said it felt like I'd retained products and everything, and they weren't 100% sure, so they did an ERCP, and it's a good job they did because apparently I had retained stuff for whatever reason. An ERCP is like an external removal of conception products or something, so it's like a D&C. So it was my first ever, and in fact only to date, general anaesthetic, and it was fun. Not. And after that, we sort of went our separate ways. We left it for a few months, and we did try again and everything, but then they went to Canada for 4 months, and it all just went a bit more. And then Darren decided he was broody and wanted another baby. So we parted company, and Darren and I decided to start trying for another baby because he got really, really broody, and all you have to do is say, do you want a baby? Yes! A little bit. Well, it was a little more complicated than that, but we decided we were going to probably try for another baby. Then I found out I was kind of pregnant straight away, which was a bit of a shock, really, because we tried for like 3 insems, got pregnant, 3 insems, got pregnant. So I thought, you know, it probably take a while, and then second Darren looks at me without wearing a condom, I'm pregnant. Though we had actually used protection when we conceived Edith. She was a bit of a shock. And yet we were planning to after AF came, but AF didn't come, and Edith was there. So, yay, baby! That was a bit of a shock, but we just felt like it was meant to be. I don't know. So meeting up with IPs is different because with my previous journey, I'd actually was speaking to a woman at work who I love to pieces. I've worked with her for 5 years, and she said, when I was heavily pregnant with Alice, is this your last baby? And I said, for me, yes. And she said, oh, what do you mean by that? And I said, I've always wanted to be a surrogate. And she got very excited and asked if I was serious, and I was like, yes, why? And she said, well, my son and his partner have been looking for a surrogate for years. So I just met up with them through her after speaking for a few months to her, particularly, not them. And we met up for tea at her house, and, you know, I just assumed that was it, that was a match. So we were, and I didn't even realise we were called as matched, we just paired up and everything. We decided to go for insems. Obviously I'd had Alice at this point and everything, so that's what we did. It was after that that I realised that there was a whole world of surrogacy, having joined up Surrogacy UK. I never joined COTS at the time because I thought their website was ugly. Yeah, I'm that fickle, sorry. I then joined a site called Friendship Through Surrogacy. There was also Rainbow Surrogacy, where else? Facebook surrogacy groups and stuff like that. And I learned more about the world that is surrogacy. Now on Surrogacy UK, Surrogacy Network UK, SNUC, I met this couple that I've been speaking to, and we've always gotten quite well, so we can now meet up in person and see if it translates to, you know, face-to-face and real, you know, the real world, not the cyber world. I'm mumbling a lot, sorry. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll go from there. But I am going to join COTS, which is Childlessness Overcome Through Surrogacy, which is a UK surrogacy group. Purely because after what happened last time, Darren felt that I'd been taken advantage of, and, you know, he really loved my previous IDs, But there were issues towards the end that they disappeared and I didn't know where they were and they wouldn't get back to me. I'd phone them or text and I wouldn't hear anything. In fact, I've texted them, a few times since we parted company and they haven't got back to me. So I feel like, whatever was there as a friendship, they're obviously not interested. And that's fair enough, because, it must suck to be with someone desperately trying to have a baby, lose both pregnancies, and then your surrogate, after you separate, literally 6 weeks later, is pregnant. Or whatever, and that's got to be a bit of a shock. And just kind of make you think, hang on, that's not fair, which is fine. So I respect that, and I've made an effort, and they've chosen not to continue our friendship, and that's fine. I respect that. I do fully respect that. So this is all kind of new to me, but as I said, I'm going to join up with COTS because Darren wants the support of an agency. It's a non-profit organisation because you can't be paid for surrogacy in England. You can only get expenses, but it means that the agreements and everything is through them if we need any help or support, and that's what Darren wanted, so I respect that. And they've joined COTS and they've paid for it. So regardless, even though I think we should probably match independently, we'll do it through COTS, because then they're hundreds of pounds payment to them for the support. They're going to get it, whereas it's free for me to join, and that way we can work together through COTS but also speak independently and everything, so that I like. And if for whatever reason, if we meet up and it doesn't seem right, I can look at the profiles on COTS and go from there and maybe find a couple, because it's still something I definitely want to do. She's happy Peppa Pig is on. That's why I put the telly on, so I could do this. I suck. Crappy mummy. So yeah, that's it really. So I'm going to hopefully go find out everything. Because there's a lot of stuff to find out. Would they do, say we freakily got pregnant, which is not going to happen, we freakily got pregnant with quads, would they want selective reduction or not? Because I personally wouldn't. If there was a, problem with the baby, would they expect me to have a termination, like cleft lip or something? Well, I wouldn't. And if they would want me to, then that's where you don't really match up, because you've got to have the same moral, well, not moral compass, well, I suppose in a way, same moral compass. I am not anti-abortion. I do agree there are times which I could get slated for. I do agree there are times when abortion is probably the right thing, even if it is a horribly painful choice. I don't judge people that have had an abortion unless they're using it as a form of contraceptive. But sort of stuff like that. So you have to find those points out. So if they really wanted, if a baby was going to be born and they were going to live a very short life in a lot of pain, then I hope I would be able to have an abortion for the sake of that baby. But it's only where it would be the right thing for the child that I would even consider abortion. Like, not even Down syndrome put me off. That doesn't bother me. It would obviously bother me, but you know what I mean. Like, I would, that would, my child, I'd accept it. And I want IPs to feel the same way, because I wouldn't want to have an abortion and then be all messed up about it. Circumcision, I would really not be comfortable with circumcision. Circumcision. Oh wow. I'm not. Again, I try not to judge people, but I am actually against circumcision. I think it's a horrible thing to put a child through, unless there's a medical reason, or I suppose I respect that a religious reason, but I cannot. I just don't get it. I think no matter what way you look at it, you're ripping off a part of a child's body. It's going to hurt. And I can't do that. But then I'm like that with ear piercing. But at the same time, one of my dear friends, she got her son circumcised, and that was her choice, and I respect it's her choice with her child. That little inward part of me cringes at the idea of it. I think, oh no, don't do it. But then it's different, because I've been brought up in England where you just don't do that. It's just not done, because there's no medical reason to do it. There's just no reason to do it. It hasn't been done here for like over 100 years. Possibly, well, actually probably more than that. I lose track of when it was. I will read that up. So circumcision is not something I would really want IPs to do, because I just think it's a bit wrong, really. Like ear piercing, if they wanted a little girl and they were like, oh, we'll get her ears pierced, I would slap them, because I just think it's horrible. No. So I sound really opinionated, and I'm sorry to anyone. If you choose to do it, that's your choice, and I respect that. But no, for me, no. And I would really rather IPs didn't. I know the IF does smoke. One of the IFs smokes, and that is a little bit offish for me, because I wouldn't want him to smoke anywhere near a baby at all. There's just no excuse for it. So I will like be watching out for stuff like that, and if they thought he was smoking a baby, then I would. I don't know. I think I would probably withdraw back a bit from that one. The other thing that might get people is it's actually 2 gay men that I'm meeting up with. So I'm sure lots of people think that's disgusting, but I clearly don't. I'm all for gay rights. I'm pro-gay everything, pretty much. That sounds really weird, but I know what I mean. What else is there? Stuff like that. So there's a lot to discuss. There is a lot to discuss because there's a lot that could cause problems because it's a very intense thing, surrogacy. I mean, there's a lot of stress while you're trying. Then when you get pregnant, there's hormones, and of course, you feel sick, you feel tired, things hurt. It can all get very raw, and if you don't agree with certain things, it can really, really become such an issue when you are carrying someone else's baby. Excuse me, I keep getting heartburn. It's horrid. What are you doing? Oh, she's getting annoyed, so I best get her. She's getting bored. I'm not getting human interaction. Rah! So yeah, I should probably go. But that's it. So I'm going to come back on here and let you all know how it goes. I'm really excited. And then I should do a series of like how we plan to do insems if I get matched, and applying to COTS and stuff like that. And any other videos you want on surrogacy, just let me know. Alright, I'm going to go. I will speak to you later. Bye.